Let us begin. So before beginning with any of the things from my side, I just want to understand that how many of you are retaking CAT this year and how many of you are going to attempt it for the first time? Okay, so I think most of us out here are will be retaking the exam. So that's good. So that actually provides us a certain base as we move ahead with the live classes and covering the tricks and all. So as most of you are going to retake the exam, the major focus while we will be studying would be on the shortcuts, on certain tricks which you can actually deploy to solve different questions, at a lesser time with a higher accuracy. So that will be the major focus, and that does not mean that we will not be covering the basic concepts. We will be covering the basic concepts as well, but to ensure that all of you are actually not making those mistakes which happened somehow in the previous CAT, we will be focusing equally on the shortcuts and areas where you can actually analyze your mistakes and ensure that your mistakes are not repeated this year. Because when it comes to different sections, I'm pretty sure that there are different kind of issues which you face. So for people who are weak in verbal, how can we actually avoid marking that incorrect option when we are left with two options? Or for people who are actually weak in cont or LR, how can we develop certain shortcuts or sure shot tricks which can actually help you solve a question in a lesser time, right? So we will be focusing on all these aspects as we cover different topics going forward. Anything specific which you want me to cover in this particular session at on the strategy side, on the high level CAT information side, which could actually help you to prepare well? Shantanu, I will be sharing the entire schedule of classes by tomorrow, and we will be covering the entire syllabus. We will be completing of everything by May, so that by the time June comes, you are actually just getting onto mocks, topic tests, sectional tests, analyzing them, and getting all your doubts solved. As far as covering up the concepts is concerned, we will be finishing off everything by May. Because I think being a retaker and being a retaker myself as well, when I took CAT, it's very important that we do spend a lot of time on taking tests, topic tests, etc., and analyzing them, because that is the area from where your actual improvement of scores will come. So I'll be sharing the schedule as well so that you can plan your days accordingly. Yes, Abhinav. So it will be you will be knowing all the dates of the tests. You will be knowing dates of all the classes, and then you will be knowing the dates of 18 full-length mocks, which are also the part of the course. And then there will be more than 100 topic tests which will be provided to you. Yes, Harshit, every class will have its recording available in your account. So once the class is over, within 15-20 minutes, its recording gets live in your account, and in future you can refer to it anytime throughout the year. So missing a class is not an issue. And for all the section wise strategies which you have just suggested, we will be actually taking up those things only in this session. Okay, so Abhinav, that is something which which we can do, where we can actually get into touch on a one-to-one basis, and then as per your strong areas and weak areas, come up with a personalized study plan for you, because that is something which is going to be more individual oriented depending upon your strong areas and your weak areas. So probably that is something for you, for which you can just drop me a mail with your strong areas, weak areas, and your scores in the previous year exams, and accordingly I can share a study plan for you. And if anyone else also needs a personalized study plan, feel free to drop me a mail with your strong areas, weak areas, previous scores, and I will share your respective study plan with you. So Arindam, to analyze your strong and weak areas, what I will suggest is take couple of diagnostic tests and solve couple of past CAT papers and see that know how you are doing in different topics areas, and that will actually help you to analyze your state in different topics. I'm just sharing my email ID so that you all can share your details with me for a personalized study plan. So you can send me mails at this email ID, and for any queries anytime you can reach out to me through this email ID as well as through my number which I have shared earlier. So I'll be available with you 24/7 almost. And as we move ahead, we will be allocating you mentors specifically for verbal, specifically for quant and reasoning as well. So those mentors, their email IDs and their contact numbers will be shared with you in another 7 to 10 days. So those mentors will be over and above me. So apart from me, you can reach out to those respective subject area mentors as well. And these mentors will be there to help you throughout the season. Any other concerns which any one of you have? Great. So just let us move ahead a bit. Okay, so let us, since all of you have taken CAT 2015, right now, since the notification and there is no idea of how the pattern is going to be this year, till the time the pattern is out, we will be focusing, and we will be going ahead with the continuation of the same pattern which you had in 2015. But yes, there could be slight variations in the pattern once the official notification comes out. So that has actually become the habit of IIMs to change the pattern at the last moment. So be ready for that. While you should be mentally ready for that, to start off your preparation, to ensure that you are pretty much well placed from every side, irrespective of the pattern which IIMs announce at the time of notification. There are certain important topics in each section which you need to focus upon. So we will just have a quick look on those important topics. So this distribution of number of question marks, all this is based on the 2015 CAT. But what is more important here is to have a look at these 8 important topics when it comes to verbal. While reading comprehension is definitely a pretty important topic, para jumbles is another very important topic from CAT perspective, which will be having a pretty good weightage irrespective of whatever the CAT pattern for 2016 be like. Similarly, there are certain important topics which you cannot miss, and those are like critical reasoning, sentence correction, para completion, and FIJs. These four topics, again, you should be focusing a lot throughout. FIJs is something which should not take much of time, and we will be covering them towards the end. But for topics like parajumbles, summarizing, critical reasoning, sentence correction, and para completion, these are the 5 most important topics for you from verbal perspective after your reading comprehension. Thing generally on which you spend your lot of time but does not have a high weightage, or in fact almost a zero weightage in CAT, is your vocabulary. So while it is always good to have a strong vocabulary, do not spend a lot of time on direct vocabulary based questions if you are aiming specifically for CAT. So in fact, apart from CAT, even for ZAT, do not expect a lot of direct vocabulary based questions. Direct vocabulary based questions, they come more in other speed based exams like SNAP and MAT tests, etc. But when it comes to CAT and ZAT, your focus should be more on the top 8 topics. In fact, you can remove the pick the odd one out as well. So apart from the pick the odd one out, 7 topics which you see in the top 8 list, these are the most important topics from verbal perspective. And yes, you will always add grammar to this. So these 7 topics plus grammar will hold the core nucleus of your verbal preparation. Your core nucleus should not revolve around vocabulary. It should revolve around these 7 topics. Any doubt, anyone so far? Any query? See, theta base is ultimately going to come from these topics only. Like, it came from parajumbles this year. So theta is not a topic. Theta is just a way to ask a question. So if you are clear with the concepts of these topics, theta should not be a problem. It is more about understanding the core concept of all these topics. So when we practice going forward, yeah, Arindam, we will be discussing those strategies as we take up classes on those. Harshit, yes, you can. So this is one of the problems, which generally people face, because the moment you go to physical coachings and the traditional mode of preparation, everyone suggests you that without having a strong vocabulary, you cannot crack verbal in the CAT and all those stuffs. But trust me, with the ongoing patterns and everything, you can actually score a 99 plus percentile in verbal section without attempting a single vocabulary question. By vocabulary question, I mean a direct vocabulary question. So the reason I say that you should not focus a lot on vocab is it takes a lot of time, and then you don't know that how much written will you get out of it. You might study 1000 words, but they may give you a 1100 word which you would not have studied, right? So it's better to focus more on those topics where if you have a good conceptual understanding, you can actually score with almost a 90% accuracy even in verbal. So does that clear your doubt, Harshit? And everyone else? So does that make sense to you? I think, if you since you have taken a lot of papers, you will also understand this thing, that your preparation should be very practical in approach. I will suggest all of you throughout the season that always adopt a very practical approach across all the 3 sections, where you should put those topics at a higher priority which have a higher weightage in exam. First, second, they can reap you good returns. you should not be investing a lot of time on those topics which have lesser weightage or which do not reap good returns. Does that make sense to all of you? So this particular PDF which we are seeing in this session and the recording of the session, both the things will be available in your accounts immediately after the session. Similarly, if you come to quant, now quant is another area where I have seen people waste a lot of time on some of the topics where the weightage is less these days, and you will find some of the toughest questions coming from those topics, and that is nothing but numbers. So if you see, usually I have observed some of the people who prepare for CAT spending like 1.5-2 months on numbers only, but that is not the right approach. Obviously any quant course for CAT will obviously start from numbers, but when it comes to your personal practice, right, your focus should be limited on numbers, but a good amount of your focus should go on topics like geometry and algebra, which form the core nucleus of your quant paper. Highest number of questions traditionally have always come from geometry and algebra. So while even we will start off with numbers only, and we will be giving a good amount of number of classes to the numbers part, but when it comes to your personal practice, right, ensure that you are not spending months and months on numbers. Rather, after spending some specific amount, say few weeks on numbers, your focus should move on more important topics which have a higher weightage, like your geometry and algebra. Also, I've seen one thing. Look, you end up solving a lot of PNC probability. PNC and probability are the topics with the least weightage in CAT. So, as it was the case with vocabulary for verbal, similarly, so Pratik, no, I think you don't need anything extra. It's just a matter of being able to solve 1 or 2 questions more correctly, or probably solving 2 less questions incorrect, that you will reach the 100 mark. So whatever you have done last year is pretty good. This year, focus more on the topics which have a higher weightage and practice them even better as compared to last year is what I will suggest. So coming back to what I was saying, that like vocabulary is something which does to you for verbal. Similarly, PNC and probability is something which has a similar kind of a role when it comes to quant, right? So do not spend or do not get panic because of PNC and probability. I have seen a lot of students getting panic because they are not able to solve PNC, they are not able to solve probability. You can score a 99.9 percentile in CAT without PNC and probability. Aditi, if you are asking from CAT perspective, yes, you can. But when it comes to other exams like say SNAP and MAT, you should know certain basic formula to solve some of the questions out there. But when it comes to CAT, yes, you can. Anyone, any question so far? So there is a list of topics and a tentative average question breakup from these topics across last 5 years. You can just have a look on this list and let me know in case you have any query. So the numbers which you see against different topics on the screen, these are the average numbers of last 5 years. Any questions on these number of questions which you see on the screen? PNC on an average usually remains at 0. At max 1 can come. Probability usually remains at 1. So PNC and probability together never exceed 2. So that means even without attempting their question, you can actually score a 99.9 in quant. Any questions here? So are you all able to correlate with what I'm trying to explain to you, that what should be your high level strategy when you start planning your preparation for different sections? Because see, it is very important for you to focus on things which are important and not waste a lot of time on those topics which are not that important. So selective, efficient and effective study is what you should be doing for next few months to ensure a high score. It should not be that I will study everything which comes to my way. So can we move to reasoning? So when it comes to reasoning, majorly from CAT perspective, these 8 are the most important areas. The toughest area is the logical DI. Logical DI is something to master logical DI. It is very important for you to be good in topic number 2, to be good in topic number 6, and if you are good with 2 and 6, then you will be good with logical DI. So while logical DI will be among the topics which will be covered towards the end of the syllabus, it is very important for you to focus on areas like bar graphs, line graphs, Venn diagram, pie charts, puzzles, and a standard logical reasoning caselet. If you are good in them, then you can actually master logical DI. Logical DI is nothing. It is just a name. There is no need to get haunted by the name. It is a combination of a hybrid set where a certain amount of data is provided in the form of a caselet, like it is provided in a LR question, and a specific set of data is provided to you in the form of a table, graph, pie chart, etc. So basically when you club your LR and a DI, the data representation in these two cases, and you make a hybrid out of them, it becomes a logical DI caselet. So logical DI is just a name. It is not something which should come and haunt you. But yes, to be good with logical DI, because it is the application of multiple concepts at a single time, it is very important for you to ensure that you are good with those concepts at a standalone level. Am I clear on the logical DI side? Yeah, Pratik, I know that. That is why we will be putting up a good amount of time on LRDI part. Harshit, we will be dedicating specific sessions to tournament based questions. And this time we have arrived at 4 to 5 standard tricks which will ensure that you are able to solve each and every tournament based question. So once you are done with those with that particular session in the LR part which deals with tournament based class, you will be able to solve every question. So there are 4 to 5 standard tricks for tournament based questions. You just need to apply them and get the question solved with 100% accuracy. Right. So probably we can include Pratik also in doubt solving sessions, and he can help all of you out with the doubt solving part when it comes to LRDI. So so don't worry on LRDI part. All of you who were not able to do well in the LRDI part, we will be adopting a very structured approach and ensure that irrespective of the difficulty level, you are able to do well in this particular section. So these are few of the important topics which are very much required for LRDI part. Now, one thing which is not mentioned in this entire document is, and a question which none of you have asked so far, that what should be your ideal attempt to be able to be there in the top 1 percentile in respective section. I am not talking about at the overall level, because if you are in top 1 percentile of every section, you will definitely be in top 0.1 or top 0.2 percentile overall, right? So there is no specific number of questions, because see, number of questions will keep on varying year on year. So Pratik, I'll tell you the reason. All of you, I'm not sure that how many of you have actually studied the data of last 4-5 cats, or you have compared the cat 2015 result data with cat 2009 data. So cat 2009 was again the cat which was designed by IIM Ahmedabad, and it had a similar pattern, apart from the fact that it did not had a sectional time limit. Apart from sectional time limit, everything in cat 2015 as was same as that of cat 2009, and and the percentages of your marks at which you have at which you have got a certain percentile is similar to what it was for cat 2009. The reason being things went slightly haywire was because in between IIM Indore made really very easy papers which actually took the level of cat pretty down, and people started scoring really high. So apart from those 2-3 years, generally the trend has been that if you have to be in top 1 percentile, you have to get around say 55 to 60% of the marks. At 40 to 45%, at 40% you cross a 90 percentile barrier, at 45% you cross a 96 percentile barrier. So that is how it is. At 60% you cross a 99 percentile barrier. So this is a general trend. Any questions so far? I just see everyone going quiet. No one is asking any query. Feel free to ask any query. Anyways, what should be the ideal number of attempts and all? We can, this is something which will keep on refining till the time the exact paper's pattern is out. Because a lot depends upon that whether there are 2 sections or whether there are 3 sections, and what is the clubbing of the sections. The reason paper became relatively easier was also that they clubbed LR with verbal. So a person who was not good with LR used to make it up with VA. But the moment LR and DI came out, people who had these as their weak areas and were depending upon content verbal, they actually suffered a lot. But anyways, these are the far-fetched things. Right now, the focus should be on concept building, get hold of all the shortcuts, getting a good hold of all the tricks which can actually help you solve certain complicated questions in a shorter time. And then probably by May, June, we will look into these things once the official notification on the pattern is out, that how we should be refining our target attempts. So Danshu, in terms of areas to focus in LR, selections, seating arrangement and selections is one of the most critical topics. Then your puzzles, then the questions based on blood relations, family tree, data sufficiency, and definitely your usual puzzles. Uh, Bhave, yes, we will have a class tomorrow on verbal ability. Abhinav, yes, you will be practicing almost every possible type of question through the assignments which we will be giving you, and then the topic tests, then the sectional tests before mock tests, etc. begin. And just for a diagnostic purpose, we will be conducting one full-length mock at all India level in first week of April. So that will also give you a some kind of a flavor. Exactly, Harshit. I will say, in fact, instead of July, till June, you should be focusing completely on concept building, getting good hold of topics, and practicing the variety of questions. And then from July onwards, focus should move to time bound topic tests, time bound sectional tests, and your all India mocks. Shantanu, cubes is not that important. So cubes you will have 0 to 1 question in the exam, so it is not something which you no even if you are not that good you can leave it. But yes, since we will be covering everything, we will be covering cubes as well in a good way with shortcuts and all. If you are able to capture those shortcuts, then cubes should be a cakewalk for you. So Harshit, that test of 13th March has been moved to 31st because right now people are still not in the mode to take a full mock because they have CET and everything happening for the last season. So we have actually pushed it to 31st of March. So Danshu, we will be covering a lot of tricks around cubes as well. So don't worry on that front. There is going to be no topic which is going to be left. Even apart from these topics, there are certain topics which come in say other exams like syllogism and all. We will be even covering those. Any more doubts which any one of you have? So my only request to all of you as you start preparing for upcoming CAT is try to be selective in terms of the topics where you have to decide that how much time you are going to invest. So the time which you invest on any topic should be in proportion to its weightage in CAT. So ensure that you are not putting in lot of time on any topic which has a lesser weightage. And if there is any weak section of yours, then for that particular section you should focus only on topics which have a high weightage. So for example, if someone is weak in quant, completely skip PNC probability, forget that it even exists, and get a good hold of other topics, especially algebra, geometry, and then arithmetic, and then numbers. So that should be the approach for someone who is weak in quant. Someone who is weak in verbal, approach should be to get a good hold of RCs, good hold of parajumbles, good hold of sentence correction, good hold of critical reasoning, good hold of paragraph completion. So depending upon your weak section, you can actually fine tune certain plans on how to go about your preparation. Just studying everything will not help a lot. Any doubts, anyone, on whatever I have shared with you? Pratik, for that I am just a call away. The moment any one of you feel demotivated, I am just a call away. We all are, since you have, all of you have been so early in starting to prepare once again, I am pretty sure that you are aiming nothing less than a top 10 institute. So that is how we will be focusing on throughout. None of us here is going to settle for any institute less than a top 10 B school. Right? And that is your motivation, that is your inspiration, that irrespective of the fact whatever has happened in CAT 2015, CAT 2016 is your year, it is your time, and it is your opportunity to showcase your actual metal to everyone around you. And irrespective of the criterias of different B schools, irrespective of the exam pattern, irrespective of the fact that who is forming the paper, none of us is going to settle for a percentile less than the top 1 percentile. Are all of you ready to put in the efforts for that? And when I say top 1 percentile, it is across the sections. No single section should be the spoiler for any one of us. And for this, for all the help you need from our side, we will be there. All the faculties will be there, your mentors will be there, everyone is going to be there. We will provide you every possible help from our side to ensure that you achieve this. What we need from you is your efforts, your time, and your openness in reaching out to us for any queries which you have, because we know it is, to be able to solve your query, it is important for us to know your query, right? So ensure that you are not keeping any query or anything which bugs you, even if it is something personal which actually inhibits you from preparing well. Feel free to discuss that with us, and we will see how we can help you to overcome whatever kind of a barrier it is. In terms of hours per day, Bhave, that is something which is very subjective. So for a working professional, I 2 hours on a weekday and 5 to 6 hours on a weekend, or for a person who is not working, for him daily 5 to 6 hours. So since I was also working and I was also getting very less time, because there was a huge amount of time which used to get into traveling. What I used to do is I used to study say 2 hours on weekdays and then 6 to 8 hours on weekends. That should be your approach. But do not skip studying anything on any day. At least study for 1 hour, if not for two, even on a weekday. If after returning from office you feel a lot of taxed and tired, try to study for an hour at least before you leave for office. So Harshit, even for me it used to take almost 3 hours. So that is what I used to do, that at times I used to study before leaving for office for an hour, and then after returning from office an hour before going to bed. So you have to decide depending upon your shift. So Sudhanshu, for you it is like probably say 12 to 2 or 11 to 1 is something which you should take out for studying even on a weekday. However, another good thing is all your tests for which we will be providing you, they will easily get open from your workplace. So we are not a banned site in workplaces, so you can even access some of the tests and practice some questions even in your office if someone is not around you. See, that is how you have to steal time to prepare, man. This stealing time, makes you very uh, it makes you happy about yourself, that yes, you are very serious about your preparation. It makes you it gives us kind of a sense of achievement, that despite a very hectic day, despite my boss shouting at me, man, I took out half an hour for my studies, to achieve something which I actually want to. Shantanu, yes, we will be. Okay, so I think there are no more queries for now, and rest we will begin with the classes from tomorrow. Tomorrow we will start off with verbal, and in another 3 to 4 days we will start off with the con part as well. And I will be sharing the schedule of the entire course of the classes with you by tomorrow. Pratik, let us discuss this tomorrow, the RC's part. No, weekend classes will not happen at 9:30. Okay, so on the timing of classes, all the Quant, LR and DI classes will be at 10 o'clock. Usually Quant classes, if happening on weekends, they will be on Sundays, and on Sunday at 10 p.m. Verbal classes, if on weekday, it will be at 10 p.m. If on weekend, it will be in evening, not late night. So on a weekend, say Saturday, it could be around 4 to 5 p.m., 4 to 6 p.m. so that you are free on Saturdays, Saturday evenings. I don't want to capture your Saturday evenings. And yes, more importantly, apart from all this serious stuff, try to enjoy your preparation as much as possible. Try to discuss with all your peers who are preparing with you, at least all of you who have joined with us. Try to prepare together, form a very cohesive group among yourselves, so that you can share a lot of tricks within you as well. And it's a very continuous learning kind of a process, right? And the more, don't think that you have to keep things to yourself. The more you discuss with others, the more you will also learn when it comes to CAT preparation journey. Amrita, number of classes per week, I'll say around 4 to 5. So once and at times there could be some question which you see anywhere. If not anything, you can at least share it on WhatsApp group and discuss it with with all of you, others in the group who are preparing. Sudhanshu, this video will be available within 15 minutes. Bhave, there is no good book. There is no good book for LRDI. For basic DI, you can refer to Arun Sharma. For basic LR, you can refer to Aryan's logical reasoning book. But when it comes to actual CAT level questions, there is no good book out there in the market, and hence you have to rely more on the kind of assignments which we are going to give you, the kind of tests which we are going to give you. Best way apart from our material would be past papers, past mocks. There is no good book of LRDI. Abhinav, yes, you can go for Sarvesh. So you can go either for Sarvesh or for Arun Sharma. Either of this will work. Okay, any more queries? Bhavesh, then if you have solved it once earlier, try start off this time from level 2 directly. Start off from level 2, and then you can move to past papers and past mocks for practice. apart from the material tests which we are going to provide. Any more queries? Anyone? Abhinav, Aditi, Surbhi, Arindam, Amrita, Harshit, Shantanu, Vinayak, any more queries? Sudhanshu, yes, I will be sharing the schedule by tomorrow first half. Okay then. So thank you everyone for coming to the session. We will start off with the classes from tomorrow and I will be sharing the schedule of the entire course by tomorrow first half. And this recording will be there in your accounts in another 15 minutes. Yes, Arindam, there should be different strategy for different exams, which we will discuss as different exams come up. There's a different strategy for SAT, there's a different strategy for SNAP, different for NMAT. Every exam has a different strategy. Okay, thank you everyone. Good night. And yes, password to access the recording will be, so every recording which gets uploaded in your accounts will need a password, and this is the standard password for now which you can use to access the recordings. So this is the password on your screen which you can use to access all the recordings. Okay, thank you everyone. Good night.